Alright, what is up, everybody? Just to preface this, before we get started, we wanted to share the fact that Jeff drove his car out here. Probably not going to be able to see anything except for the fluids that are leaking on my driveway. Maiden voyage.
It worked. It's here.
And what happened?
It got a little hot on the way.
How hot?
225.
And then you had to sit because you can't do what with your hood?
Nothing.
He put his hood on and he couldn't take it off.
I couldn't get it off on the side of the freeway. I didn't want to leave it on the side of the freeway.
Yeah, you can do it, but before you go home, if you want to just leave it, so that way in case you actually have an issue, you can actually do something.
It's probably not a dumb idea.
Because then at least you can look at it and make an assessment.
I can go, hey Dane, I need you to come pick me up because it's broken right here.
Yeah, put the hood on, just go for it, man.
So we got radiator caps. So we're gonna try that. I was puking out of the cap.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh,
Who does that?
don't
right.
talk
Forgot.
to it.
Well, it's just because
All steel.
All steel. All steel.
the exhaust goes through the fender, so it makes noises when it cools down.
So, okay. Just wanted to share that with everybody. So he made it. We'll see if he makes it home. Maybe I'll give you guys an update
I'll make it home eventually.
after the video.
They're not even ready for that, are they? Mopeds don't go 100 miles an hour.
Okay, they're ready for 95 miles an hour.
Yeah, sure.
They really are. They're
That
S-rated.
hill.
S-rated.
Really? Oh, wow.
They're high-performance moped tires.
Okay, I'd like to see that moped.
I'd like to see somebody riding it like that.
Just get a tank slapper at 80.
with your knees in front of you.
No.
So, all right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of West Coast Sloppers. And then what we're going to do tonight, because we had the camera malfunction, is first and foremost, we're going to make sure the red light keeps flashing, and we'll keep talking. And we're going to answer the questions, because by the time we wrap the video, there was a bunch more questions, so we didn't even get them anyways. So we're just going to do that, and we'll probably ramble more than enough to fill up enough time on the video. And then maybe we'll take a sneak peek at Jeff's car out there. We'll shine some lights on it, and probably looks better in the dark though, huh?
Yep.
So anyway, so we'll just jump right into questions. So I'm just gonna pull them straight off of the Q&A. I know it's a couple weeks old, sorry about that, but we're moving as fast as we can. So, very first question from 2 weeks ago. We'll start with Jeff. Sloppy Mechanics asks, chocolate, vanilla, or swirl?
I'm gonna go with swirl. I like a little bit of both.
Yeah. A little variety.
All right, Reed.
I'm gonna go vanilla.
Oh,
Yeah, vanilla.
I'm a vanilla person too.
really?
Yeah, like if it comes to ice cream or whatever, it's always
Yeah. Ice cream is my number one.
Although I'm brownies, dude. Like,
Really?
yeah, I'd rather have a brownie over like a bowl of ice cream.
I'm snickerdoodles, man. I love snickerdoodles.
Really?
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even like those that much.
Oh.
Those are
Are you
like,
kidding me? That's the best cookie. Oh, man. I can eat the batter, dude. It's just
No,
like I don't
no,
even need to
Girl
cook
Scout
them.
cookies, the
Oh,
Samoa.
all right, yeah.
Dude, found Stater Brothers sells those $2 instead of whatever $10, $15 they are now, and they're almost exactly the same.
Yeah, that's such a racket. I had little girls show up and they're like, "Hey, do you want to buy stuff?" And like their mom's standing at the edge of the driveway. And you're like, "Sure, how much?" And then she's like, $20. You're like, "Oh."
Yeah, I wanted to until you told me how much they cost.
I try to hide from it.
I should have bought a new LS motor for that. Get out of my face.
Okay. Thank you very much for that question, Matt. now he knows.
Yeah.
So Mason Campos, I think it would be cool if you guys all went over your builds, talked about the drivetrain, operating systems, and why you went the routes you did. Maybe the different challenges you guys had to get running, Jeff, and tuning or just things to get working together.
That's a good question.
Looking forward to another episode. Smiley face, thumbs up. Thank you, Mason. So we'll let Jeff, we'll just go in this order.
All right.
And then you guys have heard most of my stuff. So let's go with Jeff first. So,
The
drivetrain, operating system, and why you went the routes you did.
Okay, so I got a 6-liter, and the reason why it is that motor is because that's the motor that came in my car. I bought my car running and driving. It was very poorly built.
I wouldn't call it driving very well.
Yeah, I made it to zip tie though.
Yeah.
So, and then when I got home, gutted it. So now it has the same engine. It has a power glide. And the reason why it has a power glide is because it's an extra transmission for my dragster.
Isn't poorly built kind of the name of the game, though?
No, I mean, there's poorly built, and then there's the way it was built. I mean,
I think the guy that built it is probably watching.
yeah, he might be. So I don't want to talk too much shit, but learning how to weld,
He's like, foot.
I hope that he understands that it was poorly built.
He's probably laughing. Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, he got that one.
Yeah.
And then it has a stock rear end, which sounds like it's about to blow up on my way home. And it's got the Holley Terminator because I'm not smart enough to tune anything, so I'm hoping Holley just does it for me.
Holly, take the wheel.
Yeah.
So, and then you went that route because that's what you got.
Yeah, well, so the 6.0, I mean, yeah, I would have, if I was building the car, I probably would have gone for 853, something cheaper, but it was in there, so that's just what I got, and that's what I'm going to stick with. It's got a 80 millimeter VS Racing turbo because I called them and asked, hey, what kind of turbo should I put on here? And they kind of guided me like I should have.
Yeah. The other thing too, to chime in, because I have the newer VS turbo. There was a guy that was doing like a back-to-back comparison, and that 80 mil you got is pretty well on par with the model that I have for the most part. I think this is a bit better, but leaps and bounds wise, cost.
Yeah, I mean it was very well priced for what I got. It's a T6, so you know it should be able to support more than I can do right now. I got a Snake Eater 1500 injectors because same reason.
Get him, Jeff. Get him.
I wanted to be able to grow a little bit, and not have to worry about upgrading everything every 4 months or however often my wife will let me. So yeah, I mean I'm trying to keep the car cheap and fun, so it's pretty much there right now.
That's all relative till you hit the wall.
The
wall of speed.
Yeah, I mean it should be more than quick enough for what I want to do with the, meantime.
Yeah, you'll get kicked out of the track.
I want to get kicked out of the track before I add a cage.
I've been trying for a while.
I would like to, I don't want to drive around with a cage for no reason.
Yeah.
I want to have to need it. So, yeah, I mean, pretty much it is what it is. It's a piece of shit, and it's fun.
And then Reed.
Reed is rocking a 4.8 in Rita, Gen 4 4.8.
And is that by choice?
That is by choice, yeah. I stick to the 4.8. The first engine was a 4.8. I actually bought that before I even knew about sloppy mechanics. And I actually bought the turbo, which is still in the car. That's a BorgWarner S475 with the T6 housing. So I bought all those even before I knew about sloppy mechanics, and was actually just trying to figure out how I can get more injector out of the ones that I had. So that's where I ran into
That was a go-to
Apple.
though, the BorgWarner is a go-to.
Yeah, and it's like I found it, I think for like $500 on Craigslist, which is a pretty good deal. It's still running. So
that's a great price.
Yeah, it was a really good deal. But yeah, that's getting more fuel is how I found out about sloppy. Back to the car.
I think that guy's trolling us with your audio. He doesn't want to hear about your setup.
Yeah, I know. Who does?
He's letting his boat idle outside.
Yeah. So yeah, the power plant, it's got a Summit Stage 2 truck cam, the high lift one. I got that because it was really close to a BTR Stage 2 turbo cam, but BTR wouldn't sell to California. So
I hate that.
Thanks, Summit.
What about price-wise though, on the BTR versus the Summit?
Summit's cheaper. Yeah, definitely cheaper. It's got a little bit more upgrades to it in the power plant. It is the push rods and it's like comp dual springs and 243 heads.
What are some of the reasons you picked to upgrade some of those things? Like he hasn't upgraded much stuff. You've been running longer than both of us probably combined and have way more seat time.
Yeah. So
why did you upgrade some of those things? Because that's what they're going to be.
Yeah, I had 241 heads on them with the Pac 1218s, which it would be fine for what I've got right now. But I came across a set of 243 heads and kind of wanted to get those freshened up and get whatever power I could out of them. At the same time, I found that set of dual valve springs, dual comp springs. And so I said, okay, these are a lot of seat pressure. I should probably upgrade the push rods. So that's why I went. It's only a 5/16 push rod. I mean, it's nothing crazy. I know a lot of people run 3/8.
Did you do lifters or no?
Still saying LS7 lifters. Actually, I think I did on this round. It's a fresh set, I guess. Oh, okay. So they only got like 50,000.
But they're not fancy Johnson lifters.
Nope, just whatever you get off Summit, the LS7 spec lifters. That's pretty much the engine. I mean, it's got Snake Eater 1500s on it. Still factory rails, factory intake. Little custom headers that I made.
Transmission?
They work. Transmission, we're getting back.
Oh.
Before the transmission is the torque converter, Dice unit. Local guy out here, Jeff at Dice Converters. is a legend, and pretty much, you know, you've got a good converter guy when he asks you like what your cam grind is before anything else.
Question.
Yeah, just like what's your cam, like what's your duration, and then like what gear are you running, how heavy is the car. Like doesn't ask anything about how much power you're making. Like that's kind of like the last question. So yeah, dice converters. I mean, you know, it was worth the money. I've been running that for a long time, and it's just such a solid converter. Still street on a trans brake. I've just beaten the hell out of
What's
that
the
thing.
stall on it?
Stall on it's around 3,500. Again, it depends on how much power you're making, but it flashes about 3,500. So that's coupled to a Turbo 400 transmission with the Hughes trans brake. Nothing really special there, just a quick rebuild with the master rebuild kit. I don't even think I did bushings. It was a Craigslist find. Just been running strong. It's probably due for a rebuild though, because I
Stock case and everything, right?
Stock case. Oh,
Any safety?
Yeah, it's got a scatter shield, a flex plate shield, and the housing shield as well, and like a deep pan on it.
Yeah, of course.
That's about it. And that's all going to 8.8 that I narrowed and got it to work with 4-link with a Curry. Curry makes like a 9-inch 4-link kit for GMA body. It's close enough for an 8. You just weld more. Just stack it up. That's got a Yukon Duragrip in it that I just ran out of. That's on the last episode. I went through that whole spiel. Finally starting to blow through that limited slit. So it's getting. I think I'm going to go to Detroit Locker. I know spool would probably be better for that car for the strip, but I still like it on the street.
Yeah,
and
it's hard on the tires, man.
I've had people talk. I've had a rear end guy talk me out of going to a spool just because of the modifications I need to make. You know, for the rear end itself. You know, like I have to have like press on axle bearings and everything. And guys just run a Eaton Detroit Locker and call it a day. It'll probably hold. So that's it. And it's going to now it's 10.5. 28 by 10.5 slicks, Mickey Thompson's.
And then what tire were you on?
I've got the Mickey Thompson radials right
Same
now.
thing. 10.5.
But-
10.5.
Yeah,
275.
275 60s, and then I've got the actual race radials, and then I bought his old tires.
Okay.
9-inch
So-
Hoosiers, yeah.
Yeah, so
We're gonna try all of them.
And then power-wise, what was the last one?
Most important, it's got King bypass shocks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Desert shocks that my
Yeah.
buddy Mike hooked me up with.
That is pretty cool.
He was setting his van up for desert, and they ended up being like too short or something. I can't remember why, but he had them sitting on the shelf for the longest time. They're like 2.0, like big ass desert shocks.
Yeah,
bypass,
Yeah.
got it,
living in SoCal, everyone has to have those shocks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was nice enough. He's like, oh man, these are just sitting on. He's like, the only stipulation is you got to be able to see them. I was like, okay, well, you can definitely see them. Like, if you pop the trunk, it just says King right there.
I think we need to showcase that because I don't know if we've showed.
Oh yeah, I can send you a picture. But they're great. I'm actually starting to learn a lot about them. My brother, he's been a big desert racer for a while. He was a big desert racer, so I'm learning about the valving that's necessary for drag, which is way different than what you would do in a desert truck.
yeah.
Like the opposite. So I know the shim stack's pretty much backwards from what it needs to be. You actually use a lot more stiffness and a lot more damping when it comes to drag racing because there's a lot of force
You're
going
trying to
straight
control
down.
it versus let it. Yeah.
Yeah, the extension. There's just no extension damping.
Yeah, it's not.
Because a desert truck just wants to droop out.
Yeah.
You want us to droop fast and then soak the bump and
And
droop fast.
I found myself just like cranking that thing down slow because it just. I mean, if you've seen any slow mo footage of Rita hitting the line, it smashes tires.
Maybe we should just get a paddle tire and we could take it to the sand drags.
Well,
See how she does.
the great thing about that is you can just send that thing over train tracks.
Yeah.
Rita just, it's great, and you're just floating. It's
like a Dukes of
sipping
Hazzard.
coffee. It's great. Okay, sorry, that's my rant.
All right.
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of knows mine. I'll run through real quick, not as in depth on these guys. It is or was a 5.3 with a GT45. I got gifted an intercooler. Before the intercooler, I ran it hot. I've had all renditions of it. Sloppy stage 2 for the most part for a camshaft. The power levels went from, it was 300 with the 5.3 on 91 with the sloppy stage 2. And then it was 330 on E85 with 80 pound injectors with the sloppy stage 2 NA. And then I think I got it all the way to almost 600. I think it was like 600 with the GT45 before I quit trying to make power with it.
Yeah.
It has a FTI converter. Before that, I had just a cheap one. Pretty much everything up to 500 horsepower was like anything you could put in the car that's cheap. that's what you can do. I had a $100 converter. I had a TH400 that was like, I think $100 or something off Craigslist type
They're
deal.
all $100.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So nothing special really in the car. I ended up putting a 9-inch now. I've got a VS turbo. I've got a 6-liter. Pretty much nothing's in the car, so my setup is technically not really there. But yeah, that's it. It's just 9-inch. We're gonna go 6-liter. I got a 85mm turbo, T4, and a bunch of work to do. That's pretty much what I got. So yeah.
The cam and springs in my car is sloppy stage 2 and pack 1218. So
Yeah.
Go-to.
Everybody, it's all the go-to stuff. So.
Yeah, I've considered going back to it, but that Summit truck cam just still works, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it. I mean, I think I can get more top end out of the sloppy, but I like the truck cam for just idling and driving around town. It's really nice.
So what I would say, if you were fishing, if you listen to that whole thing and you're really looking for advice on what to do with your setup, I would legitimately go get spoon-fed, go to sloppy, go do the don't BS me, buy everything on that list. If you don't know what to do or what you're going to try to accomplish, literally follow that recipe and you'll make more power than you know what to do with.
Stupid power.
And then at that point, you're going to upgrade your transmission, your rear end, and everything else because the motor's going to eat it all.
Yes.
So
you're going to buy a new fire suit or jeans or whatever you're wearing. 'Cause
that too,
A lot of power.
So that would be my advice. If I was going to start all over again or fresh, or somebody said, "Hey, Dane, what do you think?" I'm going to say, "Here, you've been spoon-fed. Like just
Matt
go."
already did the work. Just
And every time you deviate from that, you end up going back to the recipe because you're like, why did I choose? The only thing, so there's the EM USA wastegate that bit me in the butt. Maybe
spend some money on a good wastegate.
I spent more money on my wastegate than I did my turbo.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That is the one thing my buddy, I need to buy another one because I bought one Precision for replacing the one that was on the car because my buddy said, hey, you want to be able to control boost. That's the one thing you want to control. First and foremost, that's important.
Yeah. That's the other thing that's given me a headache more than anything with my projects has always been the wastegate. So if you don't do anything, buy a good wastegate. Even if you get a used name brand wastegate, you can replace the diaphragm, so you're better off than buying a cheap one. And I know it's easy to click buy and get the cheap one.
Yeah.
You're going to end up replacing it, and you're just going to buy the cheap one and a good one. So yeah, I would say follow Matt's recipe, spend the money on a wastegate.
Yeah. What it came down to for me was flow on that wastegate. The wastegate worked fine, it just wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
That's what it came down to.
Or something?
I think it was actually, no, I can't remember what it was. But it was like, the stupid piston doesn't open very much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was just like, finally, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
There's my problem. Now I wouldn't have that problem because I want to run all the boost.
Yeah,
so maybe you could. Okay.
Back to the plan.
Yeah, actually, no kidding. Maybe I was wrong. Matt, I'm sorry, dude.
Always back
You're
to the
right.
plan.
Oh, yeah, I was just a wimp. Oh, man.
All right.
I have noticed that we are a lot more scared to push it than Matt is. He's like, turn it up. It's going to be fine. It'll live.
I mean, we're still pretty green into this stuff. I mean, we know what we're doing now, but when you first go through building, you're like, oh, 5 PSI, please, no more.
Last time I took mine to the dyno, I was banging on the thing because I thought it was going to let go.
Yeah.
So at that point, and then after eating the lifter and then running it multiple times, I'm like, dude, if you actually replace the lifter tray, like that thing, I still, like, when he breaks it down, I told him, I said, I want pictures because I don't think I
There was
cracked
nothing
the
wrong with
ring.
that motor.
I don't think I did nothing to it. And I mean, the IATs were off the chart.
All the things should have been wrong with it.
Jamie K111. Hey Dane, love the channel. We'll be watching the 6.0 build. I have an LQ4 64 Vista Cruiser in my garage.
Nice.
And on my parts
That'll be
rack
fun.
box from Summit in my office. Oh, and also my buddy's shop. Your stuff is super entertaining and helpful. Thanks. All right. Well, thank you for that. There's your shout out because there was no question there. Mark McDowell. Hello, Dane. Always looking forward to your videos. I have a 6.0 I'm trying to put in my dragster my dad had. Keep all the information coming. All right, well, you got
what kind of dragster? You need a comment. Was it front engine, rear engine?
Yeah, what
How
kind of
old?
dragster?
We need more information.
We need more info. Okay, here's a real question. Joey Govia, when will you race quarter mile?
As soon as possible.
Yeah, zip tie next year.
No, we're going to Bakersfield.
Oh yeah,
before that.
Bakersfield for sure.
So the thing with the quarter mile is, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me, but I think that they shut our local quarter mile down.
Montana hasn't been running.
Montana's closed for the year.
No, I think they closed it.
Well, hopefully it's not after that, but it's definitely for the year.
It's closed for the year. They may close it permanently. Then our only choices are Verona, which is south, like by Mexico, San Diego area,
Yeah.
or Urbandale, where you watch us always race. The next closest quarter mile is going to be Bakersfield.
Yeah.
And we really want to go. It's a world-class track. We know that we got some guys up there that run at Bakersfield, so we'll definitely let you guys know if we show up in that neck of the woods.
Yeah.
We really just, I mean,
There you go.
we get as much fun out of 8th mile.
No, you're crazy.
honestly. It's
Yeah,
it's
why?
one more shift. I mean,
Not for me.
not for well, yeah, that's right. For
So,
me,
so the thing with
actually no. I
8th
don't
mile
think you're
versus quarter is when my car was pretty slow, quarter mile is more fun because you can
That's
get
where the
going
boost comes
faster.
in.
Yeah.
But now that it's pretty fast, at 8th mile, you already know what it's going to do if you hold your foot, and now you're just kind of waiting for things to stay in one piece.
Yeah, you're holding your breath the
Yeah.
whole time.
But we will run. So if we don't do Bakersfield, we will do zip tie.
Yep.
And if they don't have zip tie for some crazy reason,
LS Fest.
LS Fest
Vegas.
2021,
Let's go.
we're bringing the party.
But
So,
Richard says that if they don't actually have a
I know.
zip tie, he's gonna figure
You
something
could
out.
you could fill us in on that too, Richard. If you got
As soon
some
as you
sort
know,
of
let
plan-
us know.
Yeah. So either way, we'll probably end up in Arizona before Vegas,
Yeah.
running quarter mile is the plan. Freezing our balls off and
Dude, it's always
yeah.
cold there, but it
Um,
was nice last year.
It was
This year.
It was nice.
okay, here's one that we're gonna have to try to reel in, but it's Matt, and then I'm not gonna butcher your last name. It starts CRN
Kirkovich.
Okay,
I hope that's right, man.
You're way off. It's
yeah,
like,
I sounded super confident on that one.
Yeah. Can you guys go over the basics of what is needed for an LS swap? I know the info is out there. Just think a refresher and opinions would be cool. Maybe a shout out, LOL. Yeah, so your shout out is we butchered your last name. You're welcome.
No, we didn't. I did it.
So I'll tackle part of this and then you guys will chime in. So this is how I break it down. And at some point I think I might get into the LS swap game because I've explained it to so many people and literally it's like still
You can do it in your
voodoo.
sleep now.
Yeah. But I break it down to sections.
Yeah.
So you've got the engine and transmission. You have to place that in the vehicle. So that's one portion of the swap.
Yep.
The next portion of the swap is fuel.
Hmm.
Because it's EFI, typically like an older vehicle, you need more fuel pump because obviously it's not carbureted. You don't need like 3-4 pounds of fuel. You need like 40 to 60 pounds.
Yeah.
So you got your fuel. So then once you break that down, you usually have to run a return line.
Yep.
So now you've got your engine in place. You got the fuel going to it. Then you have to manage it. And that's, at this point in the game, it's Holly Terminator.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's easier, simpler, better. You can grow into it. Yeah, it's $1,000, but by the time you buy your HP, you buy the credits to unlock it and do all the stuff you need to do just so you can idle it and make sure it runs, and you take it to get a tune, you've already spent more money, so you just don't even do that.
And if you want to be stupid and run a carburetor
don't
is
even-
650
We're
bucks.
not even going to encourage
I'm just
that
saying.
behavior.
And then the computer for that's 300. So you're at Terminator money.
If you want to run a carburetor on your LS,
You can't.
no. Get your wallet, take your money out, go flush it down the toilet, send us a video,
Yeah.
and that's about what you're getting.
Oh, I never told dude what computer I was running. I left that out of my build. It's
Oh,
HP
geez.
tuners. Sorry, I gotta go back to this. HP tuners, I got it because my truck is running factory computer. I already had HP tuners and I already kind of knew what I was doing, and I'm cheap.
Yeah.
That's it. All
And
right.
smart.
Yeah. No.
Smart for.
So you
being-
guys
I got
you
piston ring
understand.
lands that say otherwise.
So do you guys have anything to add to the LS swap game?
There's gonna be parts that are gonna make like old school stuff work with an LS, like like flex plates and stuff like that. You'll find
So-
easy conversions
yeah.
to like mount it to an old school
So
trans. Like
one
we
thing
do.
is that the spacer. So
Yeah.
your flex plate, here's a good one that a lot of people don't really cover.
Yeah.
So on a flex plate, if you buy a motor, it doesn't matter which size you get. You want to run pretty much a 5.3 flex plate because it actually comes out a little bit, and then there's a little spacer that your torque converter needs to ride in for the crank.
Yep.
So if you get the flat flex plate, it's not going to work, which usually comes on like a 6-liter, unless you're going to run a later model transmission like a 4L80. I don't even know if that runs on a 4L60, but like a 6-liter with a 4L80 uses the flat flex plate. But pretty much 9 times out of 10, whatever transmission, if you're running an old one, you're going to want the 5.3 flex plate. So that's kind of one with that little spacer. So that's an oddball thing that people don't really talk about.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for us to not get super granular with the LS
Yeah.
swap because there is a lot to it. I mean, it's easy, but there's a ton of resources out there.
But I think at your point it's get the engine and transmission together in the vehicle.
Yep.
The cooling system, I'm kind of figuring out it's not so easy.
You didn't follow
You
my
know?
directions.
Dang.
Yeah.
But
We need to be spoon-fed.
Yeah,
I know, right?
yeah,
Come on
it's
now.
not like it's not as simple as a small block Chevy.
Yeah,
you know.
that's very true. There's
And
10
then-
ways to skin a cat for that thing.
Yeah.
It's,
And then the fuel, it's pretty much you need a line there and a line back. You need a decent pump.
Yep.
And everything else is pretty much the
Well, that's
same.
why I said fuel. So then you'll look it up, and then you're going to realize if I need 40 pounds of pressure, how do I do it? Because then there's in-tank,
Yeah.
external. So I just group it,
Yeah, definitely.
and then you can, you have at it. And then it also goes with goals and what you're doing. Are you turbo?
Yeah.
Or so
Yeah.
you can't.
yeah, that's
We
all
can sit
NA
here-
stuff.
yeah,
Turbo,
this-
you're gonna be like
He
take
just
whatever
said
pump.
he
and-
just
yeah.
said swap. So.
Yeah, no, I
But
agree.
that's just it. Break it into those 3 sections. Get the thing in there with the transmission you want to run. You may or may not have to change the drive shaft because depending on transmission. Fuel the thing, and then at that point now you know what computer and what management you need because if
Yeah.
you picked a later model transmission. So it all dictates itself, but that's kind of the way you go. You get what you want, you put it in there, make sure it has fuel,
Yep.
then give it spark. I mean, it's essentially the same, but
And
Yeah.
just use a Holly Terminator.
I love how the first thing I think, like whenever I hear like, oh, I'm trying to do an LS swap, it's like first thing you need is a big turbo. Like, oh wait, no, if I want to do an NA build, like no, you need a lot of fuel pumps.
Well, I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, come on.
Go big or go home.
Exactly.
This one's directed to me, Kyle Orsak. He said, how are you liking the Holly 7-inch dash? You think there are a few extra inputs? Do you think the few extra inputs are worth the price? I haven't used the new one, so I don't know if it's better or not. The 7-inch, I found a guy, I had a harness made. It was Jeffrey Mink. For everybody that keeps asking me, I always throw him under the bus for that. But I bought it because it's cool, and here's the thing that they don't really explain is it's all your gauges all in one, so that's killer. And then it does actually have a touchscreen, and you can set up buttons, so I can actually have it control things. I don't have it set up yet, but at some point I'm going to have like a button that I can just push to log. I mean, I can turn lights, like the interior lights and stuff. I just haven't rewired my car, but I'm going to use those, so it's essentially like a switch panel too, which is pretty rad. But you got to buy that harness, which gets in a lot of money if you go with Holly. But if you call Jeffrey Mink over on Facebook, he'll hook you up for like $40 or whatever it was, and then you're styling. So what I would say is just keep an eye out, get a used one when somebody upgrades, and then I think it is cool, it's worth it. But it's one of those things, I bought it, it was frivolous, really, because you could run the small dash and you can get by. But if you've already got your car sorted out and it has a cool factor, you can see it. I would buy it again. But it's one of those things, it's expensive. I mean,
I've
you're
got
not gonna get
nothing,
around
and
it.
I need something back because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, because he doesn't have anything, so even the
Yeah.
3-inch would be an upgrade. For
because
Jeff.
a stupid ass Amazon would not sell me the kit with the screen.
I see them for sale, but people want kind of money.
Everyone wants $250 for a stupid little screen.
You
That,
might as well take that $250 and throw some more cash and
Exactly.
get a real one. So, yeah, if Jeff wants it, I'd say get it. If you can save up. Like, that's
Yeah.
like a Christmas or like
it's something that's worth having. Just because it turns on instantly. Like, yeah, you can wire up a tablet and all that stuff, but just get the damn screen. It's much better.
Listen to Jeff.
Not that I know anything.
Okay, we got
He's adamant about it.
Tracy
I don't have
Morris. I have a small channel. My home track is Formoso.
Amen.
But I would love to come to your track. I've started using aluminum line and it has been a game changer. You can see the 4 versions of my truck. Then there's a couple replies and things on there. So thank you for watching, Tracy. If you do come down this way, hit me up on the channel or whatever, leave a comment. If we're going to go, like I said, we'll usually announce the next time we go to the track, considering we haven't been in a while. I'll let you guys know we're going to go out there in case you want to come out for whatever reason. And if we make our way to Formosa, which we're going to try to, we'll definitely give everybody a heads up in case you want to come and say hi and whatnot. So.
Yeah, I want to go. I need to look at their schedule. Maybe send us the schedule too. We'll try to figure out when a good time.
I think
to
I
go.
saw they were like last weekend they were running or something.
They run pretty often.
yeah,
it
they're
seems
active.
This is kind of a good little tip. Donnie, and what's that?
Donnie Beer.
Donnie Beer. The oil pan for the Malibu, what oil filter goes on it before you put the old pan on? I think what he was asking, so on the swap pans, like the Holly pans, or even the one that I bought, the aftermarket ones, they're set up for a Corvette filter, but what I like to do is you pull the old truck pan, and you can take the piece out that it threads onto,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and you thread that into your other pan, and then that's how you get the cheap truck filters.
Yeah, the ones
So-
you find in the junkyard. And we're back.
I think it only records for like 30 minutes.
Oh
and then
yeah,
it
Jeff,
shuts
you gotta
itself
do
off.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have to bring the...
So yeah,
Damn it.
you just steal the piece out of the truck oil pan and thread it into your new one, and then you're golden. You don't have to buy the expensive stupid filters. And the truck ones I think are bigger.
Yeah, they are.
This one's for Jeff.
Oh.
It's Ivy Ranch asks, how do you like the Terminator X? And do you think it is worth the money?
100%. It's there's nothing even worth thinking about other than it. I mean, unless you're full race car, which you wouldn't be watching us if that was the case. So,
Hey.
no, you wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, if you actually had money and knew what you were doing, you wouldn't watch my channel.
Yeah.
Unless it was like comic relief.
Yeah, it's like, look at these idiots.
He's waiting for JJ the Boss to pop in.
Yeah, like I said it once, I said it again. I don't even run a Holly, and I think it's worth the money.
Yeah.
Like,
if I can wire it, anybody can, and that's not a joke.
Here's the thing that makes the Holly worth the money too, is you can grow with it. So even if you're NA, you can get your motor, put a cam in it, and then run it on the Holly. You can run a flex fuel sensor if you want later on. You can plug that in yourself. It has the wideband already in there, so you're already checking fuels. It helps you tune, and then when you want to go nitrous turbo, you can control all that stuff as well.
So,
and then even aftermarket other stuff, it'll control whatever you want if you get creative.
To be honest, I had a stock computer in my car when I first got it, and just to get a wideband, a boost controller, and all the things I needed to actually make my turbo work right was almost as much money as getting a Holly Terminator. So I just spent a few $100s more and just bought the Terminator and was done with it.
So as soon as it dropped, I had a gold box. That's like old school, if you guys even know what the gold box is. And I was going to put that in my other race car I was building. And I never did, but it was one of the parts that I kept because I spent so much money on it. I'm like, if I ever LS swap the Malibu, this is going in there. So I kept that and the fuel pump. Everything else I sold. And I had it, and I was kind of contemplating. And the Terminator dropped, and I was like, I had an innovative wideband. I had the AEM boost controller.
Yeah.
I had that gold box. I sold everything because I read the specs, and I'm like, this is going to make all this stuff I have a paperweight.
Yep.
And I bought it the first week it came out, and then I took it to my tuner shop 2 days before I was supposed to be in Vegas racing F-Bum. And then he left. All the other guys were sleeping because they were up all night tuning everything else. So here I am with this thing that's brand new, and my tuner's like, I got to go. And I was like trying to tune. He's like, we'll do it in Vegas. And I wired my boost controller wrong. But not too bad. The thing ran and drove, and I raced it. I knew nothing.
Yeah.
And the guy that knew stuff was like, I've been up for 2 days tuning all these other idiot stuff. Like, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Here's how you work the dyno. That's what he told me that day. And
push this button.
I didn't even dyno because I was all afraid.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. So here's a pretty interesting one that's a real topic. K Pinto, and I think this is my buddy Earl Pinto. Power to weight ratio over V8s and 4-cylinder.
Well, that was a good question.
Your thoughts on that? Do you believe that you can get the same horsepower out of a 4-cylinder and boost as a V8 and boost? I think that's a loaded question because we
Can I
all know
start
that.
first?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. But none of us have enough money to do that.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree.
So if you want to race a 4-cylinder and be fast, you have to have a shit ton of money.
Well, the K series, you can make pretty good power on that thing. But I don't know if they're doing rods and stuff. I don't know what they're doing with them. But I watch like the PFI Speed guys. It seems like it's kind of depressing because every Honda that comes in like, oh, 500. I'm like, damn, did you get 500 out of that little teeny motor? But everything scatters like it's.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're the
very
Matt
wise.
Happel of that stuff, and you have to know what you're doing. If you were just some dude in a garage, good luck.
Yeah.
You're going to blow that thing to smithereens trying to do that shit, and you're never going to get anywhere.
And for like the EFI and boost especially, like the 4-cylinder crew's been at it way longer than we have for LSs.
I remember back in the day.
Way back in the day, yeah.
Well, the thing that I always laughed at, because I started with Honda stuff before I got into all this stuff.
No.
And
Explains a lot.
I always wanted a turbo car, and I had a little CRX, and like I was all fast and furious.
Of course you did.
I did. It was a
Yeah,
fun car.
I had an S10 with a 2.2 liter in it, man.
I had an S10 with a 2.5, but
I've been a V8 guy for my whole life.
Yeah.
America.
But they were making big power before, but they didn't have the management on board. But the thing I laugh about now is like I'll pull up like a PFI video because I really like the dude that runs the channel. He's like super genuine, super nice guy. Like you just want to feel like you want to hang out with him. And then they'll be working on like a B series, and there's a distributor, and I'm like, what is this? Why are you guys doing that still? Like, why does it have a distributor? We're in 2020. Like,
why doesn't it have a crank trigger at least, or something?
So back to his question, is it like,
I
is he asking power to weight, like for the weight of a V8 versus the weight of a 4-cylinder?
That's kind of what he...
Well, the last one was a loaded question, because he's like, do you think a 4-cylinder with boost can make as much power as V8? Do they make 1,000 all day on a little 4-banger? Here's the real question is, can you do that reliably?
It's like a 2J, the same thing. You can build a bunch of money, or a bunch of power, but you have to have a lot of money in order for it to stay together.
Well, here's a good point. One of the best like 2J guys, the Real Street dudes,
they're amazing.
Just went on 2.0.
He only made it 2 days.
There you go. So if you bring a 4-banger that's putting out 1,000 and you can do Rocky Mountain Race Week and put down some impressive numbers, I'd be impressed. Can they go fast? Those 4-wheel drive Hondas are lightning fast.
4-wheel drive Honda. Yeah. How much money does it take to make a 4-wheel drive Honda work?
I don't know, but I'm saying they're fast as hell. They're cool, but it's like, you're good luck, dude. Like, there's no sloppy mechanics 4-wheel drive Honda guru that's like, hey, watch me bang this out and go get ice cream, and it's like, no, dude.
It doesn't happen. It's like full race car in order to make a Honda quick.
If you're like talking like cream of the crop 4-cylinder versus cream of the crop V8, what's Top Fuel putting out? 10,000?
More.
More? Okay.
Yeah.
There's I think there's the bar there. I mean, if you can get a 4-cylinder to put out 10,000 horsepower, I'd love to see it. I mean, you can make a ton of power. Just call up Eslinger and go fork out. How much do those cost?
Those things are badass motors.
Yeah, my dad runs them.
They're badass motors.
Yeah, they're wild.
But what I would say though is maybe like for a little track car, it'd be cool to have a high revving like little Honda.
Oh yeah.
And then you can just buzz around and you don't have any weight and you can take a bunch of G's on that corner and stuff. But as far as drag racing goes, I mean, V8's where it's at.
And you got to power the rear wheels. The front wheels, the wrong wheels to power.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like the little Honda crew that like goes out to Irwindale. No, they're good people. And you ever chat up with them?
No.
Nice guys.
They're crazy.
But here's the funny part is you always know when the Hondas are going to run, especially at our local track. They've got 10 dudes that walk up to the line. And
there's an entourage. Yeah.
Sometimes they make passes, and sometimes all those
dudes
dudes
pushing the damn car back.
Not that we haven't had to do
Oh
that
yeah, no, we've been there
with our junk cars.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't hate on the Honda guys. I think it's cool.
No, I got tons of respect.
There's
for
that dude Driver B. That dude's fast and
yeah.
he's consistent. Like his car, when he shows up, his shit always runs. He's good, but he is like one.
How much time has he been doing it?
I don't know.
He obviously knows what he's doing. He's got a lot of money and time invested into that program.
Yeah.
I mean, anything's possible. But and I do like when a guy goes quick in a Honda. I'm like, wow, good for you. It's like a Volkswagen guy. Hey, you made it down the track. You made it through all the gears. But 90% of the time, it's like, wah, bam, and then they're like going again. You know, you can't find the gears, and when they do, it's cool. But most of the time,
you know what it is though, because the transmission that does find the gears is like $1 billion. Like the dog crazy gears.
Like I said, you have to have a lot of money to make it work. It's not.
KP was a turbo 4-cylinder guy with his Datsun, and then he has some nice stuff, and that car is fast. But I think he spent $1 billion on it, and it still didn't run consistently. So, I think there are fast 4-cylinders. I think the power to weight ratio, I get all that, but as soon as you make it front wheel drive and you take the reliability and you flush it down the toilet, I'd just as soon get a junkyard engine, make 500-600 on low boost with my Chinese turbo, and then just be happy. My biggest thing is like the Rocky Mountain Race Week. I like stuff with a purpose. Like I love race cars, but my car it'll always be a somewhat streetable race car.
Yeah.
Like just because I might not drive it every day or decide to go on long trips in it, but if I want to, I can get in there and I can squeeze in there and I can go on a road trip or I can put my kid in it.
Yeah.
And I like that aspect of it. That's why the full race car thing is like, I don't know if we'll ever be full-blown race car. Plus, I don't have the money. Let's be honest.
Nah, I don't.
So
we got one of those. If you ever want to do that. If you ever want to play full race car, you can push the damn drag strip around for a while. That's all you do with real race cars, push them.
Well, as long as I'm driving, I'm good because I just sit in there.
No, it's so hot, dude. Oh my god. It's like claustrophobic.
But yeah. So I think that is all for the Q&A.
There was any more? I thought there was a bunch more.
I don't know. That's all I see on here. It's a bunch of replies and stuff. So I'm just gonna go with that. So hopefully, unless you guys want to look real quick.
No, I believe you.
Yeah. So other than that, we might as well update stuff. So we'll start with Jeff. Jeff actually drove his car here. Hopefully it'll make it home. We're gonna find out.
Yeah. First Yeah, it's an hour drive, so
Yeah.
seems like, other than it overheated a little bit.
A little bit. And
Yeah,
a little bit of oil, a little bit.
Yeah, just
Standard.
Bloodletting.
Yeah.
Get the bad blood out.
And then
But-
your car is hibernating?
Yeah, it's been sitting on the side of the house. I mean, I fired it up and like moved it around the other day. I'm like, I need to drive this thing more. It's just sitting there. I think I need to drive it into work next week just to keep the oil moving through it.
And then my car, if you've been following the channel, I have really boring body work going on. And I know better that you can't do like the scuff and shoot. And I scuffed the body away. Like when I scuffed it, there's no material to put paint back onto.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I'm just struggle street a little bit. But good news, we have an event hopefully next month.
It's pretty much done deal as long as no new fires get started.
Yeah. So we've already got a dyno date set for his car. I'm going to hopefully piggyback with mine depending on if I can get my scuffed and shot car done. And then are you just going to bring Rita out in the
I think I'm gonna leave her alone. Ran good last time it went out.
I don't think traction is gonna be.
No, I'm gonna turn.
I don't think it's gonna be had anyways.
Yeah, I'm not gonna run slick.
So
or anything.
it's a flashlight start like airport thing.
Yeah, they asked me to bring the dragster as well. So as of right now, that's going to happen.
2 water burnouts. Chases a race.
Chases a race. Yeah. So it's flashlight start airport deal. So it's basically just racing. So we'll try to bring the cameras and set them up in everybody's car, because whoever's in the lane next to you, it's kind of racing. There's no times or no nothing like that.
If you're even somewhat local, try to come out, because what we're really trying to do is get the city to understand that racing is a viable way to make money. And so if we can get enough people there and enough actual want, they are looking into removing the airport factor out of that airport and making it into a racetrack.
So that's Banning.
And that's in Banning. It's on the way to Palm Springs.
So if you're in SoCal or the area,
If you are even somewhat interested in racing, especially with things that are going the way they are at Fontana, show up, spend the $20 to even park your car, just to have a place that we might be able to go to.
and I'll put it on my Instagram and all that too. So we're gonna try to help promote it, just so we have another spot to go race.
Yeah, basically it's just presence. I mean, like, get there, make the county or the city know, like, okay, we want to do this.
Yeah, it's all
like,
so the city actually already owns the airport. So what we're trying to make them understand is, hey, there's a better way to make money than the one. There's like 3 people that fly in and out of that place regularly, and one of them is a skydive school or something that probably really doesn't have that many people show up. And how cool would it be to take over all those hangars, and hopefully we can rent a hangar for ourselves
Yeah.
and have a place to leave our junk at the racetrack. Like, there's a lot of cool factor to taking a hangar in and an airport and making it into a racetrack.
Yeah.
So
yeah, especially seeing like the potential for Fontana being just done for drag racing.
Yeah.
Drag racing in Southern
we
California.
lose tracks
Come
left
on,
and right.
like that's what's the deal?
So they already talking about dates for November and December as well.
Nice.
Okay. So yeah, if you're local
I'll keep you all in
SoCal,
touch.
I'll put it on my Instagram. I'm sure he'll have it up on his. Maybe all of ours.
Yeah.
We'll try to kind of promote it and get people that are local. If you got a regular daily driven car, you just want to come out and run it and race with your friends and whatnot, or even race with us, bring it out and come out and have some fun.
Who knows? You might beat us even with your daily.
I think
driver.
it's
There's a
only
good
like,
chance.
I think it's only $5 to get in if you're not even racing. So
Oh, good, yeah.
it's super cheap. It's gonna be a good time.
Watch the races.
Yeah,
support
be
them.
nice, be kind, don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
man.
No donuts in the parking lot.
Yeah,
None of that.
seriously. Oh my god.
The
If you got a pop and
takeover
bang tune, just stay home. Just leave it at home.
So
Ride your bike.
yeah, tell your friends that don't have the pop and bang tune to go.
Yeah.
Even if you got a pop and bang tune, come
You
on.
can go.
You can come too.
Just be respectful, please.
Yes.
So, all right, well, we're going to wrap it. I hope we answered all your questions. So that was just a questionnaire instead of us just long-winded BSing like we normally do. We'll bring you back again. It'll probably be a few more weeks before we do it again. Hopefully we have more stuff to discuss and events to go to. But until then, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. Any parting words, gentlemen?
Leave any questions in the comments, and we'll make sure and try to get them next time.
Yeah. Wish Jeff luck getting home. Well, you're not going to see that, but oh well.
I'm going to update this, so we'll know. You'll know if he makes it or not. We're out.
Later.